Well, thanks very much, Davis. He'll be back very shortly with our panel debate, which will be ending our show. But I'm delighted to be joined in the studio now by Safaraz Ali. Now, you're a man who wears many different hats, aren't you, sir? Tell us which hat you're wearing today for this conversation.
Firstly, Carl, thank you so much for inviting me to this lovely, fantastic, fabulous studio. I'm here with my hat as the CEO, founder of Pathway Group, an organisation that's been going for 22 years. I'm lucky, proud to be a founder and proud to be working with a team in terms of changing lives through skills and work, and we've been doing that, as I said, for 22 years. Birmingham-based organisation, but working nationally.
So tell us how it came about then and your background leading up to that.
As I said, 22 years. I started off really by accident. I didn't have a plan to be any type of entrepreneur or run any type of business. My thing at the time was really banking and financial services, and I was working in that particular sector.
In Birmingham?
In Birmingham, I was working for a Birmingham-based organisation called Botanic Assurance, used to sponsor the cricket and so forth many years ago. And my work was predominantly working in terms of getting people compensation with all the mis-selling that was going on, and working in that sector for a while. My degree was in banking and financial services, and by accident, really, I got involved in the community sector and the further education sector because I wanted to sort of develop my career as well, but also at the same time give back. So for me, it was a win-win in terms of getting involved with community projects. It looked good on the CV, but also a way of developing my skills and hopefully giving back. And from that, I looked at getting an opportunity in terms of working in skills, working with local colleges. Hall Green College now has changed its name a number of times, now known as South Birmingham City and South Birmingham College. And I started off in terms of doing community outreach work, being a member of a committee advisory in terms of the Board of Governors. And from that, looked at the opportunities that were in that sector, and for about 7-8 years did it on a part-time basis. And then I sort of thought, this could be something much bigger, and I need to sort of full-time focus and devote all my time on it.
So you have to take the leap.
Yeah, so I took the plunge and decided that I need to take it a little bit more serious. There's a lot of opportunities there. Government was introducing something called Train to Gain, which was getting people into employment. NVQs were big in terms of getting people in terms of upskilling people, particularly level two NVQs. And I thought, this is a fantastic opportunity, and if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. So took the plunge and really grown the team and grown the business really since then.
And has it grown and gone in the direction that you probably thought it would when you started it now, or has it gone differently?
Carl, the whole sector has changed and evolves with government funding. Is one of those things that priorities change, focus changes, and really to a certain level we've had to evolve as an organisation. We've been known as an ESOL provider, which is English skills for predominantly for speakers of other languages. We've done that for a while. We did numeracy literacy skills. We did work in the health and social care sector, and we're now sort of focused in terms of getting people into work, working with the job centres, getting them into long-term sustainable employment, and upskilling, reskilling individuals. So we've evolved in terms of the sector, but predominantly it's been in the skills and employability sector.
So is that adult education then, or is it young people, or is it, what's the breakdown?
It's post-16, so it is further education, it's adult education. Most of our work is level 3 qualifications, which is probably the biggest impact that can make to somebody's career in terms of having a level 3 qualification. It takes you away from sort of the national minimum wage into something more skilled, which is what we tend to focus on. We also work with people who've been long-term unemployed, and those are individuals who may have only had one job in their life, and suddenly they find themselves unemployed, redundant. And it's really working with them in terms of that journey of reskilling and looking at what they can do. So we work with many people who are over the age of 50, upskilling, reskilling those individuals, and looking at getting them back into the job market. We currently we're currently in a position where there's more vacancies than individuals. So
this is the crazy thing, because normally at a time of recession you would think that there'd be lots of people looking for jobs and they'd be clamouring for them.
I mean, one of the things that when we're talking to employers is that they just can't find the staff. It used to be the case that when people said we can't find the staff, it was about mindset. Now literally you can't find the people. So
is it can't find the staff, or can't find the staff with the right skills?
Now it's can't find the staff. There's just not enough people out there looking for work. We've lost so many individuals through the lockdown, the COVID period. We've got what we call the great resignation.
Resignation,
A word that's coming out, vocabulary going on, and people are changing their mindset. So some people are looking at sort of working as contractors, doing self-employed work, and just changing their mindset in terms of how they regard employed work.
So upskilling and reskilling and things like that have become, I imagine, more important in the last 2 or 3 years than ever, because people decide, the job they thought they could do is either doesn't exist or has changed completely.
And that's exactly it. We've got to be in a situation where it's continuously evolving, continuously improving. Employers want high performance cultures. They want more performance from individuals, and they're investing more and more. And it's got to be a partnership with employers alongside organisations like ourselves in terms of working with them to develop training plans and training matrices and looking at individuals, so they're part of the longer term future of the organisations.
So what are you looking for at the moment? How could businesses or organisations or colleges help your organisation to do more or to do things more easily?
So, our customers are threefold. We've got individual learners who are our customers, we've got employers who are our customers, and we've also got funding bodies where we look at getting grants and funding for organisations. So what we try to do is really match the three. Look at individual learners, employees, look at the employers, and look at what's out there in terms of funding and see what we could do in terms of matching. In some cases, we've got certain constraints, so we look for high growth businesses in terms of assisting them with their growth plans. In other cases, we work with startups in terms of potentially introducing interns, traineeships, and in other cases we look at just a recruitment model. So we have a bespoke model for employers. We try and match what their needs are. We try and listen to what employers are looking for, and at the same time we do that with individual learners as well in terms of what their aspirations are. We don't regard ourselves as a traditional recruitment agency. Our job is more longer term, working with those individuals, and we believe in sustainable work.
Do you find that employers actually know what they're looking for at the moment sometimes, or not?
I think the market is difficult to understand and sort of have an understanding of what the funding landscape is, or the landscape in terms of what's out there. So some employers know that they need something and they need to have a conversation. It's just who they're having the conversation with, and we want to be in a position where they're knocking on our door first.
What's the geographical coverage then? Is it predominantly the Birmingham and Greater Birmingham area that you work?
So we started off, Carl, really as a Birmingham-based organisation. That's our history. We're very proud to be known as a Birmingham-based organisation. But we've branched out in terms of where the opportunities are. So we're working now in Greater London area. That's probably our biggest contracts, and our biggest activity is in the Greater London area. We're working in Greater Manchester. We work in Cambridge and Peterborough, Nottinghamshire, East Midlands, as well as Greater Manchester. So we're not national, but we're in pockets of areas across the country. And we try and do whatever work we can in terms of working with the devolved combined authorities.
Excellent. So how different do you find maybe the issues in Birmingham are compared to some of those other areas? Are they the same kind of conversations?
There are similarities. I mean, Birmingham is definitely an area where we seem to have more opportunities, particularly with startups. There's a startup culture that we've got here in Birmingham and in Manchester. What we're finding is we've got bigger employers that we're working with in certain parts of the country. And in some cases, we've got national employers and we're just supporting them across. So there are similarities. And what we try to do is have hire local people. So wherever we are, our team is from that particular area. So in Manchester, we're employing 30 people, a full team, management teams, tutors and so forth, and are really working with employers regionally wherever we can and understand the marketplace. So in London, they regard us as a London-based organisation. In Manchester, we want to be known as a Manchester-based provider. We've been working in Nottingham, as an example, for over 12 years. So we're proud to work and support those areas.
Well, that's good. If they're looking at you like that, then they think you must know the marketplace.
Absolutely. We try and do that with the local knowledge that we've got and the local people that we tend to hire and the expertise. And we've got a regional board, so we wherever we work, we're trying to keep very close relationships with the councillors, with the LEPs, and with the people who are in the political arena, as well as prominent business people.
You said enjoying it.
I'm loving it at the moment, honestly, Carl. It's there's more and more opportunities, and the best thing is really when you see people who appreciate what we've done and the difference that we make, and I believe in making that meaningful difference. And each day is a challenge, and each day is a new day, and that's the best thing about it, really.
What are some of the big challenges for 2023, do you think? I mean, have people got a grasp of the possibilities of apprenticeships, for example, to try and solve some of these skill shortages?
I think there's still a misunderstanding of what apprenticeships are. And that's probably been one of our biggest challenges. I mean, more and more people still think apprenticeships are for younger people. They're not necessarily the case. More and more people still think it's about blue-collar jobs. Again, absolutely not the case at all. So there's a whole rebranding and understanding of exercise in terms of apprenticeships, where we've been involved with the Multicultural Apprenticeship Awards now for a number of years. Started off.
You founded that?
Yeah, we founded that. Yes, that's exactly right, and that's been going for 7 years. So one of our biggest things is putting the message out in terms of what apprenticeships are, and getting the true value of apprenticeships, and having employers invest in the longer term. In some cases, we have employers knocking on that door because they want quick, cheap labour, and that's not necessarily the case. And it's that mindset of employers, and not every employer is the same. And we've got to work with them and support them, which is what we've been doing. People is probably the biggest challenge, in terms of finding the right people, retaining the right people, and growing those individuals.
But if you can grow your own as an employer and get apprentice on board and get them to learn the culture of a business at the same time as learning their skills, it's great for the apprentice and it's great for the employer as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think a lot of it, what I find is that particularly SME businesses, when you've got a business owner, leader working with those individuals, you get a lot more. Particularly the employer is invested in the individual, and you sort of have a more of a mentorship relationship, and I think that's one of the biggest ways in terms of an individual being more loyal and also growing with the organisation.
Yeah. So if there's businesses listening to this out there, what would your appeal to them be? What can they do to help you, to engage with you?
I think the first thing is look at what, have a sort of a deep conversation with yourself in terms of where your business is growing. Try to have an understanding of, the journey that you want to be on, and really look at who can support you on that journey. Yes, definitely a skills provider is there. People talk to their accountants, sometimes, financial advisors and accountants, but I want them to also consider the skills and the employability and because it is predominantly where most businesses are people businesses, and want them to consider the people angle as well as the financial angle and all the other sort of compliance angles as well, and have that as part of their framework for thinking and planning for the future.
Lots to do then, by the sound of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Keep in touch with us. We'd love to hear your success stories, because that's what we're all about here, really, finding out what businesses are doing, what's on their minds, and you're in a good position to tell us all about it.
Thank you for the invitation. Really lovely studios, as I said. Absolutely fantastic to be here.
Great to see you. Thank you very much, Saf.
Thank you.